Zara's eyes snapped open. White leather couch. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's glittering skyline. And beside her, a devastatingly handsome Korean man in a tailored black suit, calmly scrolling through his phone like waking up next to a panicking stranger was completely normal. Did we? Her voice cracked. She looked down at herself, heart hammering. Fully clothed, but that didn't stop the panic clawing up her throat. Oh my God. Did we sleep together? He finally looked at her, one eyebrow raised with dangerous amusement. You were unconscious. What do you think? I think I woke up next to a stranger in a private VIP room. Zara scrambled to her feet, the room spinning. Who are you? He stood slowly, and suddenly the room felt smaller. His dark eyes held hers with an intensity that made her breath catch. Someone you should probably stay away from. That's not an answer. No, he said quietly, buttoning his suit jacket with deliberate precision. But it's the only one you're getting. For now. God, did we sleep together? 8 hours earlier. Girl, this place is insane. Maya shouted over the pounding bass, her box braids swinging as she danced through the crowd at Club Azure. Zara laughed, adjusting her gold hoop earrings as she took in one of Gangnam's most exclusive night spots. Neon lights painted hundreds of beautiful people in electric blue and purple. 3 months in Seoul, and this was exactly the Friday night she needed. If you're loving this story so far, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, this gets wild. Her translation job had been brutal this week, demanding Korean executives, impossible deadlines, and the constant pressure of being one of the few black women in Seoul's cutthroat tech industry. Tonight, she just wanted to forget about work, drink overpriced cocktails, and dance until her feet hurt. I told you this place was worth it. Jennifer clinked her glass against theirs, grinning. My boyfriend's friend got us on the list. Apparently, this is where chaebols come to play. Chaebols? Zara asked, still learning Korea's complex social hierarchy. Rich air kids. Old money. The kind of people who have drivers and think $1,000,000 is pocket change, Maya explained with an eye roll. The table came loaded with bottle service, expensive whiskey with labels Zara couldn't pronounce. As the night blurred into a pleasant haze of music and laughter, she found herself relaxing for the first time in weeks. A few Korean guys approached their table throughout the night, curious and friendly, asking where they were from, complimenting their style. The attention was flattering. Harmless. Until it wasn't. Around midnight, Zara excused herself to the bathroom. The hallway was dimmer here, quieter, the bass reduced to a muffled throb through the walls. She was touching up her lipstick when she felt him before she saw him, a presence too close, invading her space. You alone? The man's reflection appeared behind hers in the mirror. Mid-30s, expensive clothes, but something about his smile made her skin crawl. His eyes were too eager, too hungry. No. I'm with friends. Zara kept her voice firm, moving toward the door. He blocked her path with a casual step that was anything but accidental. Why rush? Have a drink with me. I have a special table upstairs. Foreign girls like you, you're here to have fun, right? The implication in his tone made her stomach turn. Not interested. Move. His hand shot out, fingers wrapping around her wrist. Don't be rude. I'm being nice. She said no. The voice cut through the tension like a blade, cold, sharp, absolute. Zara looked up to see a tall Korean man in an impeccably tailored black suit materialize from the shadows. His presence seemed to suck the air from the hallway. He wasn't just handsome, he was striking in a way that felt dangerous. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that held no warmth whatsoever, only calculation. Authority radiated from him like heat. The creep released her wrist immediately, his face draining of color. Min JSSI, I didn't know she was, I didn't mean. Leave. One word. Quiet. Final. The man practically ran. Zara exhaled, rubbing her wrist where red marks were already forming. Thank you. I had it handled, but, thank you. The stranger's dark eyes flicked to her briefly, assessing, cataloging, dismissing. He nodded once and turned to leave, clearly considering the matter closed. Wait, Zara called out. What did he call you? Min-jae? He paused, glancing back over his shoulder. That's not my name. Then what is? Something flickered across his face, amusement. Warning. Someone you don't need to know. Be more careful. Next time, I might not be walking by. Then he was gone, dissolving back into the shadows like he'd never been there at all. Zara stood in the empty hallway for a moment, her heart still racing. She'd been in Seoul long enough to recognize power when she saw it. The way that creep had reacted, the fear in his eyes. Whoever that man was, he wasn't just some random clubgoer. She shook it off and returned to her friends, determined not to let one incident ruin her night. Maya ordered another round of drinks, vodka cranberries this time, bright red in crystal glasses. You okay? Jennifer asked, noticing Zara's expression. You look shaken. Some guy was being gross. But someone helped. I'm fine. Zara grabbed her drink, eager to wash away the uncomfortable encounter. The vodka tasted strong, slightly bitter. She downed half of it in one go. 20 minutes later, the room started spinning. Guys. Zara gripped the edge of the table, her vision blurring. The music became distorted, faces stretching and warping like a funhouse mirror. I don't feel right. Maya's face swam in front of her, concerned and distorted. Zara? Zara. What's wrong? I just need. The words wouldn't come. Her legs turned to water. The last thing she remembered was falling backward, strong arms catching her before she hit the ground, and that same cold voice saying something sharp in Korean. She caught fragments, drugged, get the doctor, find Lee Sang-woo now. Then nothing but darkness. Return to present, the VIP room. Consciousness returned in pieces. Pain throbbed behind Zara's eyes. Her mouth tasted like chemicals and regret. She became aware of softness beneath her, expensive leather, and warmth radiating from beside her. Her eyes opened to that devastating face, those calculating dark eyes, that perfectly tailored suit. And the panic set in. Where are my friends? Zara demanded, standing on shaky legs. What happened to me? He remained seated, maddeningly calm. Your drink was drugged. Rohypnol, most likely. That man from the hallway, Lee Sang-woo, had someone spike it while you were in the bathroom. How do you? I know many things. He stood finally, and Zara was reminded of his height, the way he commanded space just by existing. Your friends were here. They stayed until 3 a.m. I had a doctor examine you to ensure you were stable, then I sent them home with my security detail to make sure they arrived safely. Your security detail? Zara's voice pitched higher. Who are you? Someone who doesn't appreciate men drugging women in my establishment. Your establishment? She looked around the opulent VIP room with new eyes. You own this club? Among other things. He picked up his suit jacket from where it had been draped over the armrest. That's when Zara noticed it. A different jacket, heavy and expensive, had been carefully laid over her like a blanket while she was unconscious. He'd covered her. Protected her while she was completely vulnerable. Zara didn't know what to say. She checked her dress, unrumpled. Her purse, everything still inside. Her phone showed 4:47 a.m. and 17 missed calls from Maya. Nothing happened, he said quietly, reading her fear. You have my word, for whatever that's worth to you. Zara wanted to trust him. Every instinct screamed that she shouldn't. But he'd had hours alone with her, and he'd done nothing. Just kept her safe. Thank you, she said finally. Even though you're terrifying. That earned her the ghost of a smile. I'll have my driver take you home. I can get a taxi. Not at this hour. Not still drugged. Not dressed like that. His tone left no room for argument, and Zara was too exhausted to fight. Taehyun will take you anywhere you need to go. He opened the door, and a stern-looking man in a black suit appeared immediately, like he'd been waiting just outside. Bodyguard, Zara realized. Actually armed, from the subtle bulge under his jacket. What had Maya said? Armed security. Everyone treated him like royalty. Wait, Zara said at the threshold. At least tell me your name. I should know who saved me. He considered her for a long moment, those dark eyes unreadable. You're better off not knowing. That's dramatic. That's honest. But then his expression softened, just slightly. Be more careful, Zara. Her breath caught. How do you know my name? Your friend said it about 50 times while they were panicking. He tilted his head. Go home. Forget this happened. Forget you met me. Something tells me that's going to be impossible. Another almost smile. Unfortunately, you might be right about that. The driver, Taehyun, was silent and professional, navigating Seoul's empty pre-dawn streets with practiced ease. Zara watched the city blur past, still trying to process the night. Her head ached. Her memories were fragmented. But one thing was crystal clear. She'd been drugged by a predator and saved by someone who might be just as dangerous, if not more so. When they pulled up to her apartment building in Hongdae, Taehyun got out first, scanning the street before opening her door. Thank you, Zara said. He bowed slightly. Be safe, miss. And... He hesitated, then continued in careful English. Maybe don't come back to Club Azure for a while. Why? Just advice. He was already getting back in the car. Zara stumbled inside her building, triple-locked her door, and collapsed onto her bed. She was still wearing the stranger's jacket, she realized with a start. Heavy, expensive, with a subtle designer logo she recognized. Loro Piena. That jacket alone probably cost $5,000. She should take it off. She should definitely take it off. Instead, wrapped in the lingering scent of expensive cologne and danger, Zara fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. She woke at 2 p.m. to her phone exploding with notifications. Maya, call me right now. Zara called them both, and they immediately started talking over each other. Armed security wouldn't let us stay. Doctor examined you, said you'd be fine. That man literally made everyone in the club bow when he walked through. Wait, what? Zara interrupted. Zara. Maya's voice dropped to serious. I've been asking around. Nobody will tell me his name, but everybody knows who he is. Club Azure isn't just a nightclub. It's a front. A front for what? Silence. Maya, for what? Organized crime, Jennifer whispered. Like, actual Korean Mafia. Zara, that man who saved you, he's not just dangerous. He's dangerous. Zara looked down at the jacket still wrapped around her shoulders. She checked the pockets, empty except for something in the inner pocket. She pulled out a business card. Thick black cardstock with silver embossing. No name. Just a phone number and an address in Gangnam. She Googled the address. A sleek high-rise building appeared, home to luxury businesses and private residences worth millions. I need to return his jacket, Zara said quietly. What? Both friends shrieked simultaneously. Are you insane? Jennifer continued. Donate it. Burn it. Stay away from that man. He saved my life. He's a crime boss. Maya practically yelled. Zara, please. Just, leave it alone. Whatever that jacket costs, it's not worth your life. But Zara was staring at the business card, remembering those dark eyes, that almost smile, the careful way he'd covered her while she was vulnerable. You're better off not knowing. She should listen to her friends. She should absolutely stay far away. But something in her chest pulled tight when she thought about never seeing him again. It was stupid. Reckless. Probably suicidal. I'm returning it tomorrow. In broad daylight. Public place. I'll be fine. Her friend's protests filled her ears, but Zara had made up her mind. What she didn't see was the black sedan parked across from her building. Or the man inside it, speaking quiet Korean into his phone. She's home. Unharmed. Orders? The response came through clearly, that familiar cold voice. Continue surveillance. And if Lee Sang-woo or any of his people approach her building, I want to know immediately. Understood. In his own penthouse across the city, the man from the club stood at his floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out over Seoul. He swirled whiskey in a crystal glass, his reflection ghostly in the glass. He should have left her with security and walked away. He didn't get involved. He didn't let strangers under his skin. But something about the way she'd looked at him, fear mixed with defiance, vulnerability mixed with strength, had made him break his own rules. And now Lee Sang-woo had targeted her. Which meant she was no longer just a random woman he'd helped. She was a liability. A complication. A problem he'd have to deal with personally. His phone buzzed. A message from his second-in-command. Lee Sang-woo is asking questions about the girl. He knows you intervened. He typed back, let him ask. Another message, this could start a war. He smiled, cold and sharp, and responded, then let it start. He looked down at his phone, at the photo his security had discreetly taken, Zara walking into her building, his jacket wrapped around her shoulders, her expression exhausted but defiant. Beautiful. Fearless. Dangerously curious. See you soon, Zara, he murmured to the empty room. The next morning, Zara stood outside the sleek high-rise in Gangnam, clutching the expensive jacket like a shield. The building was all glass and steel, reflecting the gray Seoul sky. A doorman in an immaculate uniform eyed her with barely concealed suspicion. She dressed carefully, professional but not trying too hard. Black jeans, a nice blouse, her natural hair pulled back in a neat bun. She wanted to look like someone who belonged here, even though she absolutely didn't. Can I help you? The doorman asked in Korean, his tone making it clear he thought she was lost. I'm here to return something, Zara replied in her carefully practiced Korean, holding up the jacket. To the owner. His eyes widened slightly when he saw the jacket, recognition, maybe even fear. Your name? Zara. Zara Johnson. He made a quick phone call, speaking too rapidly for her to follow. Then he hung up and gestured to the elevators. 32nd floor. Someone will meet you. The elevator was mirrored on all sides, and Zara watched her reflection multiply infinitely as she rose higher and higher. Her heart hammered. This was stupid. This was so incredibly stupid. The doors opened to a private lobby, marble floors, minimalist furniture, a single door at the end of a short hallway. Before she could take a step, that door opened. But it wasn't him. A woman emerged, stunning, Korean, probably in her late 20s, wearing a tailored pantsuit that screamed power. Her hair was pulled back in a severe bun, and her eyes were sharp as knives as they assessed Zara from head to toe. Miss Johnson, she said in perfect English. I'm Han Min-seo, executive assistant. You have something that belongs to my employer? Yes. His jacket. Zara held it out. I wanted to return it and say thank you. For Friday night. Min-seo took the jacket, examining it briefly before draping it over her arm. Your gratitude is noted. Is there anything else? The dismissal was clear. Zara should leave. She should turn around, get back in that elevator, and forget this whole thing. But she didn't. I'd like to thank him personally. Is he here? He's in a meeting. I can wait. Min-seo's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. That won't be necessary. I'll convey your thanks. Does he have a name? Zara pressed. Or does everyone just call him Sir and hope for the best? Now Minnesio definitely looked amused. You're either very brave or very foolish, Miss Johnson. I get that a lot. Kang Ji-hoon, a deep voice said from behind Minnesio. My name is Kang Ji-hoon. Zara's breath caught as he appeared in the doorway. He looked different in daylight, less like a shadow, more real. Gray slacks, white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing forearms that were surprisingly toned. His hair was slightly disheveled, like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked human. Almost. Until you met his eyes. Those were still cold, calculating, dangerous. You came, he said, something unreadable in his expression. I wanted to return your jacket. And say thank you. Properly. You could have had it couriered. I could have. Zara straightened her shoulders. But that felt impersonal. You saved my life. The least I can do is look you in the eye and say thank you. Ji-hoon studied her for a long moment. Then he glanced at Minnesio. Cancel my next meeting. And make sure we're not disturbed. Minnesio's eyebrows rose fractionally, the equivalent of shocked surprise from someone so controlled, but she simply nodded and disappeared down the hallway with the jacket. Come in, Ji-hoon said, stepping aside. Zara's survival instinct screamed at her to run. But her curiosity, that damned curiosity that had gotten her in trouble her whole life, propelled her forward. The penthouse was exactly what she expected, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than her yearly salary, art on the walls that looked museum quality. But it also felt strangely empty. No personal photos. No warmth. Like a showroom instead of a home. Coffee? Tea? Ji-hoon asked, moving to a sleek kitchen area. Water is fine. He poured 2 glasses from a bottle that definitely wasn't tap water and handed her one. Their fingers brushed, and Zara felt an electric jolt she absolutely did not want to acknowledge. So, she said, taking a sip. Kang Ji-hoon. Is that your real name, or another alias? It's real. And what do you do, Kang Ji-hoon? Besides own nightclubs and rescue damsels in distress? His lips twitched. I own several businesses. Import-export, mostly. Some real estate. Various investments. That's very vague. It's intentionally vague. Zara set down her glass. My friends say you're involved in organized crime. That Club Azure is a front for something illegal. Are they right? Ji-hoon didn't flinch. He simply watched her with those dark, assessing eyes. What do you think? I think you're dangerous. I think people are afraid of you. I think that man, Lee Sang-woo, ran away like you were the devil himself. She took a breath. But I also think you could have done anything to me Friday night, and you didn't. You protected me. So I don't know what to think. Smart answer. He moved closer, and Zara fought the urge to step back. Yes, I'm involved in things that exist in gray areas of the law. Yes, people fear me, and they should. But I have rules, Zara. I don't hurt innocents. I don't tolerate men who drug women. And I don't like leaving loose ends. Is that what I am? A loose end? You're a complication. Before Zara could respond, Ji-hoon's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression darkened. What? Zara asked. Lee Sang-woo is dead. The words hung in the air like a guillotine. Dead? How? His body was found in the Han River this morning. Single gunshot to the head. Ji-hoon's voice was clinical, detached. The police are calling it gang-related violence. Zara's blood ran cold. Did you kill him? No. Ji-hoon met her eyes. But I'm not sorry he's dead. He was a predator who drugged at least a dozen women that we know of. The world is better without him. We? Zara whispered. Who's we? My organization. Your gang. If you want to use that word. Zara's legs suddenly felt weak. She sat down heavily on the nearest chair. Oh my God. I walked into a mafia boss's penthouse. I'm in a mafia boss's penthouse right now. Technically, you were invited. That doesn't make it better. She stood up abruptly. I need to leave. This was a mistake. Thank you for helping me, but I need to go. You can't. The words stopped her cold. Excuse me? Ji-hoon's expression was grim. Lee Sang-woo worked for the Jade Serpent Triad. They're going to investigate his death, and they're going to find out about you. Me? Why me? Because you were the last person he tried to drug. Because I intervened. Because my people have been watching you since Friday night to make sure his associates didn't retaliate. Ji-hoon moved to the window, his back to her. They know you exist, Zara. And they're going to want to talk to you. Talk to me about what? I don't know anything. They don't know that. He turned back to her. They're going to think you're connected to me. That you're important to me. And they're going to use you to get to me. Zara felt like the floor was dropping out from under her. So what are you saying? That I'm in danger because you helped me? Yes. That's insane. That's my world. Ji-hoon's voice was hard. And you're in it now, whether you want to be or not. Zara paced the length of the room, her mind racing. This couldn't be happening. She came to Seoul for a fresh start, to experience a new culture, to build her career. Not to get caught up in gang warfare. What do I do? She asked finally. You let me protect you. For how long? 48 hours. Maybe less. My people are handling the situation, but until we neutralize the threat, you're not safe alone. So what, I just stay here? In your penthouse? Yes. With you? I have guest rooms. You'll have privacy. Ji-hoon's expression softened slightly. I know this isn't what you signed up for. But it's the safest option. Zara wanted to argue. She wanted to tell him to go to hell, that she'd take her chances. But the memory of Lee Sang-woo's hungry eyes, the way she'd felt completely powerless when that drug kicked in. She wasn't powerless now. But she also wasn't stupid. 48 hours, she said finally. And then this is over. I go back to my life, and you go back to yours. Agreed. I need to call my friends. They're already worried about me. Tell them you're staying with a friend for the weekend. Don't mention where you are or who you're with. Zara pulled out her phone and texted Maya and Jennifer, staying with a friend from work for the weekend. Need some space to process everything. I'm safe. I'll call you Monday. The responses came immediately. Maya, are you sure you're okay? Jennifer, this better not be about that Mafia guy. Zara, I'm fine. Promise. Just need to decompress. She pocketed her phone and looked at Ji-hoon. So now what? Now you make yourself comfortable. Min SEO will bring you anything you need. And I go back to making sure Lee Sang-woo's friends don't decide to start a war. Just like that? Just like that. He moved toward the door, then paused. Zara? Try not to touch anything expensive. And definitely don't try to leave. My security won't stop you, but they will follow you, and that defeats the purpose of keeping you safe. He opened the door. There's food in the kitchen. The guest room is down the hall, second door on the left. Mi SEO will check on you in an hour. Then he was gone, leaving Zara alone in a penthouse that probably cost more than she'd earn in a lifetime, protected by a man who casually discussed murder over morning coffee. She walked to the windows and looked out over Seoul, the sprawling city where she'd come to start fresh, to be someone new. How had her life become a K-drama in the span of 3 days? Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She shouldn't answer. She absolutely shouldn't answer. She answered. Hello? Heavy breathing on the other end. Then a voice, speaking accented English. You think Kang Ji-hoon can protect you? You're just a foreign whore who doesn't understand how things work here. He'll get tired of you. And when he does, we'll be waiting. The line went dead. Zara's hands shook as she lowered the phone. The windows suddenly felt too exposed. The penthouse too empty. She ran to the door and yanked it open. Min Seo was already there, as if she'd been waiting. Someone just called me, Zara said, her voice shaking. Threatened me. How did they get my number? Min Seo's expression hardened. Come with me. Now. She led Zara to a different room, an office with multiple computer screens, security camera feeds, and two men in suits who looked more like soldiers than businessmen. Tell them exactly what was said, Min Seo ordered. Zara repeated the message, word for word. One of the men was already typing furiously on a keyboard. They're tracking the call, Min Seo explained. This is a bigger problem than we thought. They shouldn't have been able to get your number this quickly. What does that mean? It means someone in the organization is feeding them information. Min Seo's jaw clenched. It means there's a mole. The door burst open and Ji-hoon strode in, his expression thunderous. How long ago? 2 minutes, one of the men replied. Burner phone, already off the network. But we got a general location, Itaewon district. That's Jade Serpent territory, Ji-hoon said quietly. Then he looked at Zara. You're not leaving my sight until this is over. No guest room. No privacy. You stay with me. But you said. I was wrong. His voice was steel. They're moving faster than I anticipated. Which means someone told them exactly where you were and how to reach you. Until I find out who, you're the most valuable piece on the board. I'm not a piece. I'm a person. Then be a person who wants to stay alive. Ji-hoon's eyes bored into hers. Because right now, Zara, you're at the center of a war you don't understand. And the only thing keeping you breathing is me. The weight of his words settled over her like a shroud. She'd come to return a jacket. Now she was a prisoner in a gilded cage, protected by a monster, hunted by worse. And the terrifying part? She wasn't sure she wanted to leave. Ji-hoon's penthouse transformed into a fortress within the hour. Zara watched from the living room as men in dark suits moved with military precision, checking windows, installing additional security cameras, setting up what looked like a command center in Ji-hoon's office. Min Seo barked orders in rapid Korean, her phone pressed to her ear as she coordinated with people across the city. This is insane, Zara muttered, hugging herself. This is necessary, Ji-hoon said from behind her. She hadn't heard him approach. He moved like a ghost. The Jade Serpents don't make idle threats. If they called you, they're planning something. Who are they exactly? Chinese-Korean organized crime syndicate. They control most of the drug trade in Itaewon and parts of Gangnam. Lee Sang-woo was one of their enforcers. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. He had a habit of using rohypnol on women at clubs, then blackmailing them with photos. The ones who didn't pay. He didn't finish the sentence. Zara felt sick. How many women? Too many. We've been trying to get concrete evidence on him for months, but victims were too afraid to come forward. His dark eyes met hers. You weren't supposed to be one of them. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Story of my life. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. Mine too. Min Seo appeared in the doorway. Ji-hoon SSI, we have a problem. I did a sweep of personnel who knew about Miss Johnson's location. There are 3 people with access to that information. Who? Taehyun, myself, and Yoon Seo from surveillance. Ji-hoon's expression darkened. Yoon Seo. When did he join us? 4 months ago. Recruited from the Busan faction after the merger. Check his background again. Do it quietly. He paused. And increase Taehyun's security detail. If Yoon Seo is compromised, he might be a target too. Min Seo nodded and disappeared. Zara processed this information. You think someone inside your organization is working for the Jade Serpents? I know they are. The question is who and how deep it goes. Ji-hoon moved to the bar and poured himself a whiskey. Want one? It's barely noon. It's been a complicated morning. Fair point. Zara accepted the glass. The whiskey burned going down, but it helped settle her nerves. So what now? We just wait here while you hunt for a mole? You wait here. I hunt. Ji-hoon set down his glass. I need to meet with the heads of the other families. Let them know the Jade Serpents are making moves that could destabilize the entire territory. If they want war, they'll get one. But it won't just be with me. You're leaving. You just said I couldn't leave your sight. I'm leaving you with Min Seo and a full security team. 6 armed men, all personally loyal to me. You'll be safe. You said that before, and someone still got my phone number. Ji-hoon turned to face her fully. I made a mistake. I won't make another one. His voice dropped. I protect what's mine, Zara. And right now, whether you like it or not, you're under my protection. That makes you mine. The possessive edge in his tone should have frightened her. Instead, it sent a strange thrill through her chest that she absolutely refused to examine. How long will you be gone? A few hours. Maybe less. He shrugged into a suit jacket that Min Seo had brought. Don't open the door for anyone. Don't go near the windows. And if something feels wrong, you find Min Seo immediately. You're really good at the whole ominous warning thing. I've had practice. He headed for the door, then stopped. Zara? Thank you. For what? For not running. Most people would have. Maybe I'm not most people. No, Ji-hoon said quietly, his eyes holding hers. You're definitely not. Then he was gone. The hours crawled by with agonizing slowness. Min Seo set Zara up in Ji-hoon's office with a laptop and told her to make herself comfortable. But how was she supposed to work on translation projects when her life had turned into a thriller movie? She tried calling her parents in Chicago, but what would she even say? Hi Mom, hi Dad, Seoul is great. By the way, I'm currently hiding from a Chinese gang in a Korean crime boss's penthouse. How's the weather? Instead, she explored. The penthouse was enormous, 4 bedrooms, each with its own bathroom, a kitchen that looked like it belonged in a restaurant, a home gym, and an office that screamed power. But it was the small details that fascinated her. A photograph on Ji-hoon's nightstand, the only personal item she'd seen, of a young boy and a woman who shared his sharp features. His mother, maybe? The boy looked about 8, smiling genuinely at the camera. Ji-hoon today never smiled like that. Books in Korean and English on leadership, strategy, and surprisingly, classical literature. A well-worn copy of The Art of War sat next to a pristine edition of 100 Years of Solitude. A sketch pad in his desk drawer, filled with architectural drawings. Buildings, bridges, detailed and precise. Had he wanted to be an architect once? Find anything interesting? Zara jumped, slamming the drawer shut. Min Seo stood in the doorway, her expression unreadable. I was just snooping. It's fine. I would too. Min Seo entered the office and sat across from her. You want to understand him. I get it. But understanding Kang Ji-hoon is like trying to hold water in your hands. The more you grasp, the more slips away. How long have you worked for him? 5 years. He saved my life, so I gave him my loyalty. Min Seo's voice was matter-of-fact. I was working at a hostess bar, drowning in debt to loan sharks. Ji-hoon bought out my debt and offered me a job. No strings attached. Just opportunity. That doesn't sound like a crime boss. He's complicated. He's built an empire on fear and respect, but he has rules. No human trafficking. No drugs near schools. No targeting families. Minaseo leaned forward. The man you met Friday night? That's who he really is. Everything else is armor. Zara thought about the jacket draped over her while she was unconscious. The gentle way he'd told her to be careful. The flash of genuine smile when she challenged him. Why are you telling me this? Because I've never seen him bring someone here. To his home. His private space. Minaseo's eyes were sharp. You're not just a complication, Miss Johnson. You're something else. And I need to know if you're going to hurt him. Hurt him? He's literally a crime lord. He's a man. And men can be hurt just like anyone else. Before Zara could respond, Minaseo's phone buzzed. Her expression changed instantly. All business. We have a problem. The meeting location was compromised. There was an ambush. Zara's heart stopped. Is Ji-hoon? He's alive. But there are casualties. We're going into lockdown. Minaseo was already moving, barking orders in Korean to the security team. Miss Johnson, I need you to go to the panic room. Now. Panic room? There's a panic room? Behind the bookshelf in the master bedroom. Press the copy of The Prince and it will open. Minaseo handed her a phone. Take this. If anything happens to me, call the first number. It goes directly to Ji-hoon. Minaseo, what's happening? The Jade Serpents didn't just make a move against Ji-hoon. They made a move against all the families. This is bigger than we thought. Her voice was tight. This is war. The sound of shattering glass exploded from somewhere in the penthouse. Go. Minaseo shoved her toward the hallway. Now, Zara. Zara ran. She found the master bedroom and located the prince on the bookshelf with shaking hands. She pressed it, and a section of the wall slid open with a mechanical hiss, revealing a small room lined with weapons, supplies, and surveillance equipment. She stumbled inside, and the door sealed shut behind her. Through the monitors, she could see the penthouse. Men in masks had breached the perimeter. They moved with professional efficiency, trained killers, not street thugs. Minaseo and Ji-hoon's security team engaged them in the living room. Gunfire erupted. Zara watched in horror as one of Ji-hoon's men went down, then another. Minaseo fought like a demon, taking down 2 attackers with brutal precision. But there were too many. They were losing. Zara grabbed the phone Minaseo had given her with trembling fingers and dialed the first number. It rang once. Zara. Ji-hoon's voice was strained. Are you in the panic room? Yes. But Minaseo, they're outnumbered. Ji-hoon, they're going to. I'm 5 minutes away. 5 minutes. Do not leave that room. Do you understand me? Minaseo. Will do her job. Your job is to stay alive. 5 minutes, Zara. Please. The desperation in his voice cut through her panic. Okay. 5 minutes. I'm coming for you. I promise. The line went dead. On the monitors, Zara watched Minaseo get disarmed, forced to her knees. One of the masked men grabbed her by the hair, pressing a gun to her temple. He was saying something. Demanding something. Zara realized with horror what he wanted. Her. They wanted to know where she was. Minaseo spit in his face. The man raised his gun. The penthouse door exploded inward. Ji-hoon entered like a force of nature, flanked by a dozen men in tactical gear. He moved with lethal grace, taking down attackers with clinical precision. No wasted movements. No hesitation. Zara had never seen anything so terrifying and beautiful in her life. Within 90 seconds, every Jade Serpent operative was either dead or subdued. Ji-hoon walked to Min Seo, who was bleeding from a cut above her eye, and helped her to her feet. He said something in Korean, too quiet for the surveillance to pick up, and she nodded. Then he looked directly at the camera. At Zara. It's over. Come out. Zara's legs barely held her as she found the interior release and stumbled out of the panic room. The penthouse was a war zone, bullet holes in the walls, shattered glass everywhere, bodies being dragged away by Ji-hoon's men. And in the center of it all stood Ji-hoon, blood spattered on his white shirt, his expression carved from stone. Until he saw her. His face transformed, relief so profound it almost brought Zara to her knees. He crossed the distance between them in 3 strides and pulled her into his arms. The embrace was tight, desperate, nothing like his usual controlled demeanor. You're safe, he murmured into her hair. You're safe. Zara clung to him, her hands fisting in his ruined shirt. She was shaking, she realized. Shaking so hard her teeth chattered. I watched them almost kill Min Seo. I watched you, her voice broke. You could have died. I didn't. He pulled back just enough to cup her face in his hands. And neither did you. That's all that matters. This is insane, Ji-hoon. This whole situation is completely insane. I know. I came here to return a jacket. I know. And now I'm in the middle of a gang war. I know. His thumb brushed across her cheek, and Zara realized she was crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you got pulled into this. Are you? She whispered. Because part of me thinks you wanted me here. Ji-hoon's dark eyes held hers, and for the first time, she saw past the armor. Saw vulnerability. Loneliness. Want. Yes, he admitted quietly. From the moment I saw you in that hallway, refusing to be a victim. From the moment you challenged me in the VIP room instead of cowering. From the moment you walked into my home and demanded answers instead of running. His forehead touched hers. Yes, Zara. I wanted you here. I still do. This is crazy. Completely. You're a criminal. I am. I should leave. I should get as far away from you as possible. You should. His hands tightened on her face. But are you going to? Zara looked into his eyes, those dangerous, complicated, darkly beautiful eyes, and made a choice that would change everything. No, she whispered. I'm not. He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't sweet. It was desperate and claiming and full of everything they couldn't say out loud. Zara kissed him back with equal intensity, her hands sliding into his hair, pulling him closer. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ji-hoon rested his forehead against hers again. This doesn't end well, he said. I know. You could still get hurt. Worse than hurt. I know. But I'm not strong enough to let you go. Good, Zara said. Because I'm not strong enough to leave. A throat cleared behind them. Min Seo stood there, holding a cloth to her bleeding head, looking amused despite the blood. As touching as this is, we have bigger problems. One of the attackers is still alive and talking. You need to hear what he's saying. Ji-hoon's expression hardened instantly, the vulnerable man disappearing behind the crime boss. But his hand found Zara's, fingers intertwining. Come with me, he said. To interrogate a prisoner? To see who betrayed us. You're part of this now, Zara. All of it. Hand in hand, they walked through the destroyed penthouse toward whatever came next. Together. The interrogation room was in the basement of Ji-hoon's building, a space Zara hadn't known existed. Concrete walls, a single metal chair bolted to the floor, and fluorescent lights that flickered ominously overhead. The captured Jade Serpent operative sat in the chair, his face already bruised and swollen. He looked young, maybe mid-20s, and absolutely terrified. Taehyun stood guard by the door, his usually stoic expression tight with anger. Min Seo leaned against the wall, arms crossed, her head wound bandaged but still seeping blood. Ji-hoon entered with Zara, and the prisoner's eyes widened when he saw her. "That's her," he said in Korean. "That's the foreign woman." "I know who she is," Ji-hoon replied coldly in English, making sure Zara understood. "Tell me who sent you." "Go to hell." Ji-hoon moved so fast Zara barely saw it. One moment he was standing beside her, the next his hand was wrapped around the man's throat, lifting him and the chair off the ground. "Wrong answer. Try again." The man gasped for air, his face turning red. "Okay. Okay." It was Chen Wei-han. He's the new Jade Serpent boss. After Lee Sang-woo died, Chen took over his operations. Ji-hoon dropped him. "Why target the girl?" "To send a message. Chen said you were getting soft, protecting some foreign nobody. He wanted to prove that you couldn't even keep one woman safe. That your reputation was built on nothing. And the ambush at the meeting? Chen made a deal with the Yakuza faction in Busan. They want your territory. The meeting was supposed to take you and the other family heads out in one move." The prisoner coughed. "But you survived." "Who's the mole in my organization?" Silence. Ji-hoon pulled out a gun and pressed it to the man's kneecap. "I'll ask one more time. Who betrayed me?" "Yoon-seo." "It was Yoon-seo from surveillance. Chen has his sister. Said he'd kill her if Yoon-seo didn't feed him information." Ji-hoon looked at Min-seo. "Find Yoon-seo's sister. Get her somewhere safe. Then bring Yoon-seo to me." "He might run," Min-seo said. "He won't get far." Min-seo nodded and left. Ji-hoon turned back to the prisoner. "Last question. Where is Chen Wei-han right now?" "I don't know. I swear I don't know. He moves around. Never stays in one place." "Then you're useless to me." Ji-hoon raised the gun. "Wait." Zara stepped forward without thinking. "You can't just kill him." Ji-hoon's expression didn't change. "Yes, I can. He told you everything you wanted to know. He cooperated. He tried to kill you 2 hours ago. And now he's defenseless." Zara moved between Ji-hoon and the prisoner. "This isn't justice. It's revenge. This is my world, Zara. Mercy is weakness. If I let him live, 10 more will come thinking I've gone soft. And if you kill him, you prove Chen right. That you're just another violent thug who solves everything with bullets." Her voice was steady despite her racing heart. "You told me you had rules. That you don't hurt innocents. What makes him different?" "He stopped being innocent the moment he chose this life." "So did you." The words hung in the air like a bomb. Taehyun shifted uncomfortably by the door. The prisoner held his breath. Ji-hoon stared at Zara, his jaw clenched. "You don't understand what you're asking." "I understand perfectly. You're asking me to be part of your world. This is me telling you what kind of world I can live in." She stepped closer. "Please, Ji-hoon. Don't make me watch you become the monster everyone thinks you are." For a long moment, no one moved. Then Ji-hoon lowered the gun. "Taehyun, take him to the safe house. Keep him locked up until we deal with Chen. If he tries to escape, then you can shoot him." Relief flooded through Zara. Taehyun dragged the prisoner out, leaving them alone. "You shouldn't have done that," Ji-hoon said quietly. "Probably not. My men will think I'm weak. Your men will think you're in control. There's a difference between strength and cruelty." Ji-hoon holstered his gun. "You're going to be a problem, aren't you?" "Absolutely." He almost smiled. 20 minutes later, they gathered in Ji-hoon's office. Min-seo had returned with news. "We found Yoon-seo's sister. She's safe." And Yoon-seo turned himself in. "He's waiting in the lobby, unarmed. Says he wants to explain." "Bring him up," Ji-hoon said. Yoon entered looking like a man facing execution. He was young, maybe 30, with dark circles under his eyes and hands that shook as he bowed deeply. Ji-hoon SSI, I have no excuse. I betrayed you. I gave them information about Miss Johnson. About the meeting locations. Everything. His voice cracked. But they have my sister. They said they'd kill her if I didn't cooperate. You should have come to me, Ji-hoon said coldly. I was afraid you'd think I was weak. That you'd remove me from my position. So instead you endangered everyone in this organization, including an innocent woman who had nothing to do with our world. Yoon looked at Zara, shame written across his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought I could handle it on my own. You thought wrong. Ji-hoon stood. You're out. Effective immediately. You'll leave Seoul tonight and never come back. If I see you again, I'll kill you myself. Understood? Yoon face crumpled. Thank you. Thank you for sparing my life. Don't thank me. Thank her. Ji-hoon nodded toward Zara. She seems to think mercy is a strength. Let's hope she's right. After Yoon left, Min raised an eyebrow. You're getting soft. I'm getting strategic, Ji-hoon corrected. Dead men create martyrs. Exiled men create warnings. And the real reason? Ji-hoon glanced at Zara. Someone recently reminded me that I have rules. Time I started following them again. Min smiled. I like her. Try not to get her killed. The plan came together over the next 12 hours. Ji-hoon called a meeting with the other family heads, leaders of rival organizations who controlled different territories across Seoul. The Gwangju Tigers. The Incheon Dragons. The Busan Red Lotus. They gathered in a neutral location, a traditional hanok house in Bukshan, surrounded by security from all sides. Zara watched from a surveillance van parked 2 blocks away, Min beside her, monitoring everything. This is insane, Zara muttered, watching Ji-hoon on the screen. One wrong word and this turns into a bloodbath. Welcome to his life, Min said dryly. On screen, Ji-hoon addressed the gathered bosses. His voice was calm, authoritative, but with an edge of steel. Chen Wei-han and the Jade Serpents have made a move that threatens all of us. They've aligned with Yakuza factions from Busan and Tokyo. If they succeed in taking my territory, yours are next. This isn't about old rivalries anymore. This is about survival. An older man with graying hair, the Gwangju Tigers' boss, leaned forward. Why should we care if you fall? More territory for the rest of us. Because Chen doesn't want just my territory. He wants control of the entire Seoul underworld. And he's willing to work with the Yakuza to get it. How long before they decide Korean bosses are obsolete? Murmurs around the table. A woman in her 50s, the Incheon Dragons leader, spoke up. What are you proposing? A temporary alliance. We pool resources, share intelligence, and eliminate the Jade Serpent leadership before they eliminate us. Once Chen is gone, we return to business as usual. And what guarantee do we have that you won't use this alliance to consolidate power? Ji-hoon pulled out a document. A contract. Written and signed by all parties. Any violation results in immediate retaliation from everyone else. We keep each other honest. The bosses exchanged looks. Finally, the Busan Red Lotus leader, a man in his 40s with scarred knuckles, nodded. I'm in. The Yakuza killed my father. I have no love for them or anyone who works with them. One by one, the others agreed. In the van, Zara exhaled. He actually did it. Never doubt him, Min said. He didn't build an empire by being stupid. The final confrontation happened 3 days later. Chen Wei-han made a mistake. He got cocky. With the Jade Serpents thinking they had the upper hand, Chin called a meeting of his own people at a warehouse in Itaewon. Ji-hoon's intelligence network picked it up within hours. The combined forces of 5 criminal organizations surrounded the warehouse at 2 a.m. Zara waited in a car 3 blocks away, against every instinct. Ji-hoon had wanted her to stay at the penthouse, but she'd refused. If this was going to be her life, even temporarily, she needed to see it through to the end. The assault was brief and brutal. The Jade Serpents never stood a chance against coordinated forces from all the major families. Within 30 minutes, it was over. Chen Wei-han was captured alive. Ji-hoon made sure of it. When Zara finally saw Ji-hoon again, he looked exhausted. Blood on his clothes, not his own, he assured her. Bruises forming on his face. But alive. She ran to him, and he caught her, holding her like she was the only real thing in the world. "It's over," he murmured. "It's really over. What happens to Chen? The families will decide. But his reign is done. The Jade Serpents are finished. And the Yakuza? Retreating back to Japan. They lost their foothold here." Ji-hoon pulled back to look at her. "You're safe now, Zara. You can go back to your life. Pretend none of this ever happened." Zara's heart clenched. "Is that what you want? What I want and what's good for you are 2 different things. Let me decide what's good for me." "Zara. I'm not naive, Ji-hoon. I know what you do. I know the world you live in. And I know that being with you means danger, and a life that most people would run from." She cupped his face in her hands. "But I also know that when I'm with you, I feel more alive than I've ever felt. You make me brave. You make me want to be stronger. And I think maybe I do the same for you." "You do," he admitted. "You make me want to be better. You make me question everything I've built. And that's terrifying." "Good. We should both be terrified. That means it's real." Ji-hoon kissed her then, soft and deep and full of promise. When they broke apart, he was smiling. Actually smiling, warm and genuine, like that boy in the photograph. "So what happens now?" Zara asked. "Now we figure it out. Together. You keep your translation job, your friends, your normal life. And sometimes, you come into my world. We find a balance. Can we really do that? I have no idea. But I'm willing to try if you are." Zara thought about her life 3 months ago, safe, predictable, boring. She thought about the woman who stepped off that plane in Seoul looking for adventure. She'd found it. Just not the kind she expected. "I'm in," she said. "But I have conditions." "Of course you do. No more secrets. If something affects me, I need to know. No protecting me by keeping me in the dark." "Agreed. And no killing people unless absolutely necessary." "I meant what I said about mercy." Ji-hoon sighed. "You're going to make my life very difficult, aren't you?" "Probably." "Fine. I'll try. And one more thing." "What?" "Take me on an actual date. Like normal people. Dinner, conversation, maybe a movie. No guns, no gang wars, no life or death situations. Just us." Ji-hoon laughed, a real, genuine laugh that transformed his entire face. "I think I can manage that." "Good. Because I'm already getting attached to you, and I'd like to know if you're actually boyfriend material or if I'm just attracted to danger." "Probably both." He kissed her again, and Zara felt the last of her resistance crumble. This was crazy. This was reckless. This was possibly the worst decision she'd ever make. But it was hers. And she'd never been more certain of anything in her life. 3 months later. Zara sat at her favorite cafe in Hongdae, working on a translation project while Maya and Jennifer bombarded her with questions. "So let me get this straight," Maya said, stirring her iced coffee. "You're dating the most dangerous man in Seoul, and you're just fine with it." I wouldn't say fine. More like, managing. Zara smiled at a text that just came through on her phone. Ji-hoon, dinner tonight? I promise no business interruptions. Zara, you said that last time and we got interrupted twice. Ji-hoon, third time's the charm? Zara, pick me up at 7. You're smiling at your phone like a crazy person, Jennifer observed. It's weird seeing you this happy. It's weird being this happy, Zara admitted. But it works. Somehow. Does he treat you well? Maya asked seriously. He does. Really well, actually. He's protective but not controlling. Dangerous but never with me. And he listens, which is more than I can say for most guys I've dated. And the whole crime lord thing doesn't bother you? Zara considered the question. 3 months ago, the answer would have been yes. But she'd learned something about Ji-hoon in that time. He was complicated. Yes, he ran a criminal empire. But he also had honor. He protected the weak, punished predators, and tried to minimize collateral damage. Was he perfect? No. But he was trying to be better. For her. It bothers me sometimes, she said honestly. But I've also seen the good he does. The people he protects. The victims he helps. It's not all black and white. Just promise me you'll be careful, Jennifer said. I don't want to lose my best friend to some gang war. I promise. And Ji-hoon has an entire security team dedicated to making sure I'm safe. I'm probably the most protected translator in Seoul. That night, Ji-hoon picked her up in a car that was decidedly less conspicuous than his usual vehicles, a nice sedan instead of the armored SUVs his security preferred. Trying to blend in? Zara teased as she slid into the passenger seat. Trying to give you a normal date, he corrected. No bodyguards, no business calls, no interruptions. Just you and me. I'll believe it when I see it. But he delivered. Dinner at a small Italian restaurant in Itaewon where nobody recognized him. Conversation about everything and nothing, her work, his surprisingly nerdy love of architecture, their favorite books, childhood memories. For 3 hours, he wasn't Kang Ji-hoon, feared crime boss. He was just Ji-hoon. A man who made her laugh, challenged her thinking, and looked at her like she was the most important person in the world. After dinner, they walked along the Han River, the city lights reflecting on the water. You said you got me something, Zara reminded him. I did. Ji-hoon pulled out a small box from his jacket pocket. Not a ring box. He handed it to her. Inside was a key. Is this a key to my place? The penthouse. Ji-hoon's expression was vulnerable in a way she rarely saw. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. But I want you to have it. Come and go as you please. No restrictions. Just access. To me. To my life. To everything. Zara stared at the key, overwhelmed. This was huge. This was Ji-hoon offering her complete trust, in a world where trust could get you killed. Are you sure? She whispered. I've never been more sure of anything. He stepped closer. You walked into my life by accident, Zara. But keeping you here? That's the best decision I've ever made. You make me want to be better. You make me believe I can be better. And I'm terrified of losing you. You're not going to lose me. She closed her hand around the key. I'm all in, Ji-hoon. Crazy world, dangerous lifestyle, and all. Even knowing what I am? Especially knowing what you are. Because I also know who you're trying to become. She stood on her toes and kissed him. And I want to be there for that journey. He wrapped his arms around her, holding her close. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. They stood there by the river, two people from completely different worlds who somehow found each other in the chaos. It wasn't a fairy tale. There would be challenges ahead, more danger, more complications, more moments of doubt. But as Zara looked up at Ji-hoon's face, seeing the man behind the monster, she knew one thing for certain. She'd walked into Club Azure 3 months ago looking for a fun night out. She'd found something far more dangerous. She'd found home. The end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more dramatic romances. Drop a comment below telling me your favorite moment. Was it the cold open, the interrogation scene, or that final romantic moment by the river? And let me know what kind of story you want to see next. Thanks for watching.